Welcome to Soar America. The Soar America team includes Eric, our pilot, who is going to attempt to fly his glider from coast to coast in a series of connected flights and only be the second person to achieve this goal. Join us as we soar, camp, and drive across America.
Well, it took me a few broken thermals and turning the motor off and on before I finally wandered over to the best looking cloud around and found a good thermal. I've just topped out a little over 7,000 feet. That's almost as high as I think is needed to complete the task today, and it's early enough in the day that cloud base will probably rise. So it's looking hopeful. There are a lot of cumulus out today. That's interesting because while all the models showed a few cumulus, none of them showed widespread cumulus everywhere. So, and not all of them showed cumulus here. So maybe this is a good sign that there will be more cumulus than the models suggested. So looking good so far. I'm about to start the task I declared, which is, I don't remember, about a 150-mile task to Wichita Falls, Texas, to the northeast. I'll talk to you in a little bit. 4 o'clock, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes after I launched, I climbed up, doubled back, and tagged the task start, and have headed out, and I'm already high enough, so it turns out 7,000. As long as I can stay that above about 6, I should have plenty of landing options all the way. So I just remembered wrong earlier when I said I needed more. So I've just texted the team, Julie and Diane, that I'm gone, so I guess they will be packing up their stuff and rolling pretty soon. Today might be a hard day for them to keep up with me since I have a 20-mile-per-hour partial tailwind. It's between a tailwind and a crosswind, so. But that's okay. The next several days don't look flyable, so if tonight's a late night, that's fine. We'll need a rest day tomorrow anyway. So I'll talk to you shortly, a little later. For now, the clouds are looking great. They're not terribly reliable yet. There's not decent lift under every one, maybe every 4th one or so, but enough that I've been able to stay above 6,000 feet since I got above 6,000 feet, and that is almost 4,000 feet above the ground. Well, I'm about an hour and a half into the flight and a little over a third of the way to my hopeful destination, 150 miles from where I took off. So that puts me a little more than 53 or 4 miles of the way there. Cloud base just hasn't risen like I was hoping for, so I'm I'm a little lower than I'd like to be often, and not many of these clouds are good. As expected, the 15 to 25 mile per hour winds are shredding most of the thermals, and it seems that only the better looking clouds like these two here are useful. And even at that, I'm only averaging about 2.5 knots climb rates in thermals, which is not much. It's enough to probably get the job done, but it's not what I hoped would like. And I keep having a hard time staying far enough east. I declared a goal that was as far east as I thought the forecast would support. And as forecast, it is continually worse to the east, to the right of my line than to the left. So I'm having to balance going east, because that's toward the Atlantic Ocean, against staying far enough west to stay where conditions are good enough to stay up. So that's the fine line I'm walking today so far. And I expect that to be the case the rest of the flight. That's okay. Just have to work for it. It's 5:15. Talk to you later. Well, I kept getting farther and farther left of my desired course line and decided to go for it and try to fight my way to the east to the next good-looking clouds. But the farther I go east, the farther the good-looking clouds in this direction seem to be. So I'm now down to only about 2,000 feet above the ground, gliding in for a likely landing at Throckmorton. Disappointing, but I haven't given up. I see a couple of wispy clouds between here and there, so there's hope, but it hasn't been looking good for quite some time now. So we'll see. Well, I've been struggling and struggling. Found this very weak climb downwind of the airport, and I was only able to climb just fast enough to maintain my arrival altitude for that airport because of the wind. So as I'm circling in this, I'm drifting farther and farther from my airport, but it regained speed, strength. Still not strong, but it regained strength. When I approached it, it was a waning wispy cloud that looked like it was dying. And now, since I've been flying under it for 5 or 10 minutes, the cloud got better. I didn't notice the cloud getting better until I noticed the strength getting better and looked up to see what had become of the cloud. So, no coincidence. Better lift, better cloud. I need 1,000 feet more at least to be comfortable making it to the next airport, which is still not my goal. I'm only about 90 miles into my task, 90, 95, something like that, so it's tough. But even back the direction that the clouds were better earlier, that's northwest, the clouds are much more sparse than they were an hour ago. So I don't think my big jump to the east is really so much why I've been struggling the last half hour to an hour. I think it has just gotten poorer everywhere near my task line. But I'm going to do what I can. It is now about 20 minutes till 6. I've been in the air almost 3 hours.
Traffic, Cherokee 350.
And at this point, my average climb rate in thermals is a whopping 1.5 knots, 150 feet per minute. And I guess that's just what high winds will do for you. My computers right now say 22 or 23 mile per hour winds. A minute ago, one of them said 25. It's just hard for a thermal to survive. It's the changing of wind speed and direction from the ground up that tears them apart. But usually if you have high winds, you have a big change in wind speed from the ground to aloft also. Big enough that the thermals don't survive it. Not many. And even when they do, they're broken and difficult. So tough conditions. I'm just having to keep my eye out for every little wispy cloud I can see, and if I can climb in it at all, I do. There's one that develops real quickly, but they seem to be cycling, so probably by the time I can get to that one, it will be dying, if not dead. I don't know. That one may hang on a little bit, but they keep dying before I can get to them. So I just go to the smallest of wisps. Connect all the wisps. Claw my way across the countryside. It's a few minutes after 6 o'clock, and I still need, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 feet to get where I want to be. It's not looking too likely, but I'm gonna do my best. Talk to you shortly. Well, this is looking more and more like the end. There's the Olney Airport. This is where I'm headed, where I expect I'll land. Unless one of these little bubbles turns into something. It's the best one yet. It's still far less than solid, but it's the best thing yet. I'm down to 1,700 feet above the ground. I saw winds on my computer a minute ago of 25 and 28 miles per hour. Right now they show 19 and 24. Yeah, that was a wasted circle. It's about 6:30.
Say that again.
No clouds in this direction, but I'm as far downwind of the airport as I dare get. So I'll head in to land, and unless I find a really nice one down low, it's just a few seconds and that's it. Oh well, we'll see.
As it turns out, Olney is the home of the air tractor factory, which are used a lot in the area for agricultural spraying. Then we spent a few days about an hour north waiting out some weather in Wichita Falls. It was fun to just kind of hang out, take some time off, tour around a little bit, and get some runs in. We had a lot of fun on that visit.